Hi, Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your February 16th, 2022 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin the reading and clear the energy space, I once again want to thank each and every one of you for your healing wishes and your, healing energy and your kind words while I heal from my concussion. So thank you all so very much. Now let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Aries be affected by the January 16th, 2022 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. We have a bit of a new setup, so please let me know what you think. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Oh, goodness. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So in the front here is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart. The upper middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the moon, which is Pisces energy, which is really quite beautiful. And with this moon, it means that this moon is going to be amplified for us, Aries, coming in. We also have Jupiter in Pisces, so that's going to be a tremendously powerful influence on us. We then have the world, which is beautiful. This moon is bringing us the world, and this moon is really holding a lot of promises. It's holding a lot of positivity to it, and that's kind of the moon that we need right now with everything that's going on, with everything that we've been through. This is also the first full moon that's not during a Mercury retrograde, which is absolutely amazing, or during a shadow period of a Mercury retrograde, and so that's really quite beautiful. We then have our inner self. We have the Magician, and we have the Eight of Wands. There's magic to us, and things are going to start to move quickly. There's also a spark to us, a way that we move forward, a beauty to us that is really quite enchanting. We then have our emotional self. We have the King of Wands, which is us, and the Ace of Wands, which is God, Source, Spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing us a gift. And it's a gift just for us, Aries, because we are this beautiful fire sign energy, represented by the wands in the minor arcana, represented by the Emperor in the major arcana. And so we're taking this gift of passion, of brilliance, of beauty, and we're really seeing ourselves transform. But we're also seeing ourselves connect more and more with what lights our life, how we move forward in our own existence. We then have our public arena self, we have the Tower and the Hangman. Things have fallen apart. Things haven't worked out necessarily the way that we had envisioned they would, or the way that we thought they would. We can even just see this in, the world as we are living it, right? Things have been different. And so here the Tower is saying, yes, we've been thrown out of our comfort zone, but now we're starting to see things so differently because of that. And that difference in sight, that difference in understanding of the way that we are progressing forward, of what's important to us and what isn't important to us, is actually a huge game changer for us, and is really quite empowering and powerful. Now let's take a minute. Well, actually, let's look at the energy that we need to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Oh, goodness. This one right here. Ooh. There we go. As everything falls. Okay. So here we have the Lord. This is us. Again, we're represented by the Emperor. Here in the Druid craft deck, it is the Lord. The Lord is the Emperor. And so here we're being told, don't get in your own way. It'll be so easy for us to want to make everything so practical, want to make everything so passionate and purposeful and, right, that we're going to miss the beauty of this time, which isn't about rightness all the time. It is about expression. It's about seeking. It's about discovering. It's about enjoying. And so here, just really to be open and honest with ourselves, and not also let ourselves be defined by other people's authority. So it could be our own inner authority to ourselves, but it can also be other people's authorities for us, other people's demands on the way that they want our lives to be, the way that they want us to move forward. This could be somebody in our home life. This could be somebody who's rather, kind of dogmatic in our home life, in our personal life, at work. This could be a boss, or this could be somebody who just thinks that they're right and everybody should listen to them. Let's see what our chakra energy is. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And this is rebirth, which I love, because this is such a positive, peaceful full moon that we are going to feel reborn. We are going to feel as if we're stepping into a new energy, a new purpose, a new self. Now, this is the Earth Star chakra, located 6 inches below our feet. There is a sense of, I've struggled so long, and now I'm being able to break out of my shell. Now I'm being able to claim what I deeply desire and what I want. I'm being able to fly. I'm entering into a new phase of my life. So here we have the full moon in Leo, and it says, don't let pride get in the way. That's also why we're being told, don't get in our own ways during this time. So that's going to be something that's very important for us. But the full moon is the spotlight. The full moon, with the moon opposite the sun, is all about family and home and relationships. They all come into focus. And what we see here is, as well as our family, our relationship, our home coming into focus, opposite forces in our lives start to come into focus, meaning that we look at our wants and our needs, our work and our home. We see where we're being pulled in these different directions, and we start to see what we want, what we're discovering within ourselves, what we don't want. And it's the time when we start to seek out balance. We need to listen to our inner voice and what spirit is guiding us towards during this time. Now, again, this is a very positive, very enchanting full moon. Now, this is, again, the first full moon in 2022 that is not during a retrograde, which is huge. It is not during a Mercury retrograde or one of its 8 shadow periods. It's not during a Venus retrograde. So we're going to find ourselves stepping into our power, finding our voice, and stating things, more openly and more honestly for ourselves. Mars is also conjunct Venus and Vespa in Capricorn. Now, this is important because we are ruled here, we are the Lord, we are ruled by Mars. And Mars is the god of war. Aries is the god of war in ancient Greece. Mars is the god of war in ancient Rome. And so what we're finding is that this is a time when we see things moving towards what is getting us going, what is getting us towards what we want, what we're desiring within our lives. And if we know our mythology, we know that Mars and Venus were lovers. And so here it is a time when the action of the waking world and the desires of the heart really start to come together. This alignment is in harmony with Uranus and with Neptune. This means that the energy is very centered around what we want, what we need from ourselves, and what we are looking forward in our lives. Also, we have Pisces right here at our root. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. And so Neptune rules our visual communication. So it rules pictures, it rules, movies, it moves things that bring a visual communication to our lives, as well as representing our dreams and what we hope to be and what we hope to become during this life. We need to remember that Neptune is known as the Lord of the unseen world. And as it is known as the Lord of the unseen world, this is how we're bringing our unseen world into our reality, what we dream of, what we hope for. Now, while Uranus is the innovator, it is the unpredictable, it is the imaginative, it is the creative, the idealistic. It is the energy that gets things done, the creative energy that brings things forward. It's creative and scientific genius. It is the energy that has us looking outside of the box and looking at where we really need to be, what we want. So our dreams and our own, self-sufficiency, determination really start coming forward. It is important to know that the lunar nodes, the north and the south lunar nodes, are always activated during a full moon. And the north and the south lunar nodes are called the nodes of fate. So the south lunar node brings the energy of our past, including our past lives. So it is our story that is coming forward. It's the pages already written. And it is our history, while the north lunar node is the present and what we need to accomplish in this life now, what we're striving for and towards. And so we're going to find that our stories are starting to come together. And that's why we're also, with a full moon, the past and the present start to come together, right? The sense of focus, the sense of opposites. We could think that the opposite of the present is the past. And yet we're going to find that we need that story around us to be able to project us forward. Jupiter is in Pisces, and Jupiter represents success. This brings us optimism and enthusiasm. There is an air of, I'm here to accomplish what I need in my life. I'm here to be seen and to do the impossible. And that's going to be something that's very powerful for us, that's very beautiful for us, and that is leading us forward in a very real way. So at our root, we have the moon. This moon is opening up the world to us. Why? Because it's showing us our dreams. Why? Because it's showing us what we can accomplish in this waking world. Why? Because it's surrounded by success, and it's coming out of a time when we could have felt our words were mumbled or misunderstood, or we couldn't really make sense of things the way that we wanted to. Now we stand in this moon, and we start to see our fears. We start to see the shadows that were put around us. We start to see our doubts, and we start to say, no, I'm not defined by fear anymore. I am moving myself forward. And what I love about this world card is that he has, that little book on his lap, a fairy tale. And we can think that what we want from our lives is a fairy tale. People who are more practical or who sit there and say, oh, don't be such a dreamer, can make us doubt the way that we're moving forward in our lives, what's important to us, the way that we're fulfilling our dreams, and make us think, oh no, I can't do this. But the fact of the matter is, we can, and we are. We are moving forward towards something so much more beautiful, and we're seeing our world open to us in a way that we hadn't anticipated. This is also a time, Aries, where we're being told, do not look at things as if we already know, because what's going to come up during this time is a lot of the unknown, is a lot of things that lead us forward where we're like, wow, I would have never have thought of this path. I would have never walked this road. And that's because we're embracing our own inner magic. And the magic, we sit there and we can say magic and think of it as hocus pocus, or we can think of it as Shakespeare's witches. But what I really see magic as is the focusing on the God's head within us, focusing on our own, unique gifts as individuals, to stand before the altar of our existence, to stand before what we want from our world and saying, this is what I want. This is who I am. These are the gifts that I was born with, even if we're not sure what those gifts were. It is a very real sense of, this is who I am. And as we look at who we are, instead of seeing what we're not in comparing ourselves to anybody else, we see who we are, where we stand now. Who we are, who we were, who we are becoming, what we want. We're not living in the past and we're not living in the future. What we're doing is we're looking at the power of our voice, the power of our mind, the power of our connection with the earth, the power of the energy that fuels us, the power of the energy that quenches us. And we're seeing ourselves move forward in that fire, in that understanding. And as we do so, we start to be confident within ourselves, because our world seems to think that everybody has to be extraordinary. And everybody is extraordinary in the fact that we are all unique individuals. But it does not mean that everybody's going to drive the fancy cars or live in the fancy zip codes or, have the whatever that we are supposed to have in order to seem to be, or to make it appear that we are accomplished. What we need to do is connect with why we're here on this earth, with what brings us joy. And if that's gardening in our gardens, or laughing and playing with our kids, or, painting, or whatever it is, it's having those moments of beauty in our lives to be able to say, this is why I'm existing. This is what's moving me forward. Work can be, driving us up and down the Mississippi with conflict and hurts and pains and, arguments, or it could be absolutely wonderful. But we are more than what we produce. We are our hearts. We are our emotions. And that's something that we're stepping into. And as we step into that, we're going to see things, changing around us very quickly. The Eight of Wands brings in profound and beautiful change. It has us moving forward. It's not necessarily profound and beautiful change. That's what's around the cards in this time. And it has us moving in a direction that we just didn't expect. So it's like ready or not, here it comes. Everything is changing. And we can see that even with the Tower in the public arena, because we have this change coming forward in our inner selves. And it's like, okay, I need to move forward this way, or I need to break out of the box this way. It brings us to our hearts, which are transforming as well. We have the salamander there. In alchemy, the salamander is a symbol of transformation, and we have ourselves being handed the gift of passion and of power and of new creativity, new insights. This full moon is really the spotlight on the fire that we're moving forward in, the passion that we want, the fears that have held us back for way too long, how we're seeing ourselves more and more, and how we're starting to define ourselves not in negative words, but in positivity. We're starting to look at ourselves and saying, okay, you know what? I can do this. I can move forward. I might be having a hard time. Things might be getting me down, but I am so much more than even I've defined myself as. And that's where this fire comes in. That's where this creativity comes in. That's where this insight comes in. The light is moving us forward. It might not move us in the direction we thought we would be heading. It can move us in a completely different way, but it is a way that is quite extraordinary for each and every one of us. And as we embrace the King of Wands, we're embracing a fire, we're embracing a passion, we're embracing an instinct, we're embracing an idea that is having us step into ourselves more and more. And it brings us to the Tower. Here it says destruction and enlightenment and release, and then destruction, enlightenment, release, repeated like a mantra around us. We find from destruction comes enlightenment. From the rubble, we learn how to rebuild stronger and better, which sounds like a cliche, but it isn't. There's going to be this real sense of, oh, but that's what I need. That's what I want. That's how I need to move forward. That's what I desire. Things fell apart, but now, because they fell apart, because I was on this journey where I might have felt like, oh my gosh, what the heck is happening? And the roads might have changed without us, even being aware of how to stop it. We were just like pulled along on this journey. And it was all about survival. It was all about one foot in front of the other. And now we're looking at things. It's like, oh wow, now I'm here. And where will here bring me? Now I'm here. Now I found myself more. Now I see myself more. What is it that is becoming? How is it that I'm moving forward? And it brings us to the Hangman, which is waiting and rebirth. And we have the rebirth in our chakra energy, in the Earth Star chakra that roots us. We are going to find ourselves sitting in the midst of the destruction, in the midst of the enlightenment, in the midst of having hit rock bottom for some of us, and looking at it and being like, wow, I didn't think it would ever get this hard. I never thought that it would be this intense. And it might have been from years ago that we found this pain, or that we experienced this pain. And now we're starting to look at things differently. And we're waiting, instead of waiting to be reborn, we're waiting as we take in the knowledge. And we are being reborn in the power of our insight, in the ferocity of our words, in what we desire for our lives and for ourselves, and how we're moving forward. It's like all of a sudden our eyes have been open. The Hangman, very much like Odin in Norse mythology, hangs from the tree to get enlightenment. Now, Odin had his eye taken out, right? He went through all these traumas in order to fully see. We've been through traumas, and we have the eye here, sitting before us, above our tower that has crumbled, above what we thought was supposed to be our world. And divinity is taking us on an adventure that we might never have wanted, but it will lead us to a place, and is leading us to a place that is quite extraordinary. Now, let us see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh, it's awfully close to the candle. There we go. So at our root, we have meditate and contemplate the new moon in Pisces, which is what the new moon on the 2nd of March, where the new moon is going to be. It's going to be in Pisces. So we're going to see, as this full moon leads us forward, as we're looking, discovering, and becoming more and more and more of who we are, as we're looking at our fears, as we meditate, as we contemplate, as we, look at different roads and different opportunities start to open to us. By the time the 2nd of March comes, by the time the new moon in Pisces steps into play, we start to see ourselves in a very different way. It brings us into balance. It brings us into balance of everything that has been out of focus, out of the opposite forces within our own lives, coming into harmony, coming into realization. In our inner self, we have the full moon, and it says surrender to the divine. So inwardly, we're going to feel this full moon so much more than we have been feeling the full moon now, or that we've been feeling things before. And as this full moon comes closer, as we are embracing its energy, or embraced by its energy is the better way to put it, we are starting to see ourselves. We're starting to see what needs to be understood. It leads us to a place of peace. It leads us to a place of harmony. Now, one of the meditations I've been doing, especially since I've gotten a concussion, was a hand movement meditation. And I can't remember what it's called, been having a bit of a problem with that. So if you just Google hand movement meditation, it will come up. It starts with an M. I just can't remember it. And it is just about being in the present moment. And just, you just sit with your eyes open and you let the movements take over and you let yourself connect. And that's going to be one of the ways that we get peace. One of the ways that we get peace is by being in the present, not worrying about the future, not, obsessing about the past. It's about being in the present moment and seeing what the world is offering us, how the world is opening to us. It moves us to our emotional self. And it's the new moon eclipse. It says, expect powerful change. And as we are expecting powerful change, and as powerful change is coming in, we face our fears, which is what our root is telling us with the Pisces energy, right? We're facing our fears. Even though Jupiter is in Pisces, even though success is all around us, it's still terrifying. It's terrifying to step out of the comfort zone. It's terrifying to put ourselves in vulnerable positions. It's terrifying. And so here, as we look at the fear that is around us and that is a part of us, do we stay small? Do we stay, huddled away? Or do we, break out into the murder of crows, break out into what seems ominous, there we go, but is what we need, is the connection, is the beauty, is the empowerment and the flight that we need as an individual to really move ourselves forward, to really express and expand on what we desire. It moves us to our, emotional self. And not emotional selves. It moves us from our emotional selves to our public arena self. And it's the new moon in Aries. It is us. It is time to take action. But we need to have patience. We need to have patience as we take this action, as the portals, the doorways open, as we find ourselves embracing a new world, a new time, a new desire, as the fire, as the intensity within us shines, as we look at things in such a new and even provocative way at times that makes us question, that makes us look at things so differently. It brings us to our subconscious lunar message, which is the new moon. A new start is coming. And that's what we're moving towards on the 2nd of March, that new start. But here, from the from the 16th of February to the 2nd of March, we have that energy of the full moon guiding us, lighting our way, showing us what it is that we desire, where it is that we need to be. And it's like, oh, I'm really seeing it, aren't I? I'm really starting to look at what is new, what is empowering, what is important to me. And then it brings us to resistance. They've tried to break us down. Our own doubts and fears have tried to demolish us. Our own, negative coping mechanisms have tried to demolish us. The fears that we have of, going after our dreams, succeeding, achieving, failing, comes into play. Just the weight of the world tries to crush us. And yet we still find ourselves growing. We still find ourselves striving for more, for beauty, for that connection. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and that is the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles, earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. It is the sense of looking at things and saying it all needs to be practical. It all needs to have a logical reason to it. It all needs to have a financial, purpose to it. And if it doesn't have a place in my existence. It's like, no, this is a time where we need to connect with that imaginative, unpredictable energy of ourselves. We need to embrace, our own independence, but our own individuality. And that makes us stand up and stand out for ourselves and within ourselves. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that is self-mastery. That is the solar plexus chakra. There's a real sense of I'm mastering myself, I'm aligning myself, I'm healing myself, I'm listening to my gut, I'm listening to what is important to me, I'm listening to the foods that my body needs to eat, the drinks that my body needs to drink, and the way that I am healing and soothing towards my goals and towards what I desire. It brings us then to our subconscious rooted energy, which is the Hermit, which is Virgo energy. We are looking at the star. We are looking at our wishes and the way they guide us. Are we becoming obsessed with them? Are we being practical with them? How are we moving towards what we wish, desire, hope for, and dream? We also need quiet moments. Quiet moments, Aries, is going to be so important to us. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, and that is the Two of Swords. A path is opening up to us that we just never expected. And as that path opens, we see ourselves more and more. We see what we desire. We see what we want. We see what we need. We start to question and move in a direction that is just, it's just powerful. It's just powerful. It's like, take the logic, and it's not saying just take the logic off the table altogether, but have that alignment with the heart and the mind. Have that sense of both are equally as important. It's not saying just throw everything to whimsy, but it is saying, embrace the power of the heart, of the now, of the emotional understanding, and see where the path takes you. Do your job, do it well, be who it is that you're supposed to be. Don't go against the grain of your own existence and your own emotions and desires, and see how the world opens, because we will be surprised. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self, and that is the Magician. As above, so below. As we believe it, so it becomes. We have the Magician twice now in our inner self, but also now as like the forefront of subconsciously who our emotional self is, who we truly emotionally want to be. And it's being a bit of that maverick. It's being a bit of that innovator, that creator, that, person who stands before the world and says, this is me. And we might have declared it when we were really young, like, this is what I wanted to do. And then the world got in the way, practicality got in the way. And we've gone through that. We've gone through the changes that we need to go through. And now, again, we stand before the altar of our existence, remembering the echo of the dreams that we've had, remembering the passion of the person that we are. And we claim our space. And we know that the mind, the way that we think, the way that we emotionally feel impacts our world profoundly. How are we embracing those emotions? How are we embracing our own gifts, and how are we moving ourselves forward to so much more than we've anticipated? It brings us to our subconscious public arena self, and that is the Eight of Pentacles. Our hard work pays off. Here it says education, achievement, and then hard work and results. So we have that around us, our education, our achievement, what we have learned, maybe not through book smarts, but just through life, through everything that we have gone through. And how is that moving us in the direction of what we want. It's going to be hard work, no matter what. Our dreams are always hard work. But how are we embracing that hard work? And how are we opening the doors to who we are, what we need, what we desire, and where it is that we want to be for us and for our own fulfillment? It's the hard work paying off. All right, Aries. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this full moon, and as we embrace the power and the intensity of ourselves and our own transformation. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries, and may you have a blessed moon.